a process. It happens over time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. So get it out your head. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in as always. Today we're going to talk about self-development and 5 things that I think are really, really good and a good place to start for your self-development. Self-development is really important because as humans, we're constantly growing, constantly evolving. That's why there's so many different stages, or what more people like to say now is eras. A lot of times people want to grow and want to do more things, but they really don't have an idea on what they should be doing. So I wanted to come and give 5 tips that have helped me with my self-development, and hopefully they'll help you. Number 1 is all about self-awareness. Self-awareness is priority. You need to know what you actually want to change. And I mean what you want to change, not what some people are telling you, because if you're not ready for that change, then you're not ready. But what is something that you want to change? And when you're thinking about this, you need to be really, really specific. You can't say, I want to be a better person. What does being a better person look like? Not saying you can't start that, but whenever you're not specific, it's kind of vague. You can't really go through steps and don't know what to research on or who to connect with, because a lot of people are good people in certain aspects. What are some things that you genuinely want to go in, look at yourself, fix yourself? That could be you want to be slow to anger. You want to be more patient. I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to stop drinking. I want to stop smoking. You need to know what you want to change and why you want to change. What is it that's motivating you to make this change? The reason for that is because whenever it gets hard, you need to revisit your original, what was the purpose in this? Why am I doing this? Because it's not going to be easy. Making major changes in your life, it does not always come easy. But that's okay, because we're going to be prepared for it. Okay? Another thing with self-awareness is figuring out what makes you triggered or what takes you out of the character or the person that you want to be. What I mean by that is if you know a person or certain things or certain places trigger you, you probably should avoid them. Like whenever I wanted to stop drinking, I did not go to bars. I didn't go to parties and things like that because I know if I go, it usually turns into a lituation. Now, don't get me wrong. It's still going to be a lituation when I'm in the building, but it's not going to be on that level of a lituation. Like I could still have fun and not drink. I know that now that I've evolved as a person. But in that time when I was trying to change and I knew this was something that I wanted to change, I could not be out there like that. I couldn't, because I knew that would make it that much harder. But now, once I made the change, I know that's something that I can handle. Now I'm free and I can go be outside doing those things if I wanted to. Or if you're a person, you want to be more peaceful and you're around people that kind of pull you out of that. Until you're able to work through being around that person and dealing with that person without letting them disrupt your peace. For now, you gotta, keep a little distance until you decide to either cut them off, which you don't have to, or you're in a position in your life that now you're okay, you can be around them and they don't disrupt your peace like they want you to do. The next topic is you need to be willing to learn new things. And it may seem kind of basic, but let's say you're a person, you want to be slow to anger. You need to figure out some anger management techniques. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. We can always learn something new, especially when it comes to self-development. If you're a person that you really want to grow and elevate yourself, baby, we need to learn more things and how we're going to get there. Back in the day, people would say you need to read more, which very much is true. But now we got so many different other methods of intaking information. So if you like to read, definitely read more. If you don't like to read, you're not a person who can sit down with a book or you're too busy. There's podcasts, there's YouTube, there's TV shows. There's literally so many different ways to intake information now. You should always be trying to learn new things. Even if you don't have something very specific that you want to change, learning new things is just going to help you change in general, or just bring you more knowledge that you didn't know, which either way, it's a win in my book. And with learning new things, you find new hobbies, and learning new hobbies is always good too, because you find new passions, new things that bring you joy, and new things you can do for your self-care. I'm always going to drop some self-care tips in there as well. That's why you got to figure out what's out there and venture out into the world and find new things. When you start trying new things, trying new hobbies, you may come in contact with new people, which leads me to my next point, which is connecting with like-minded individuals. You need to be close to the people that you want to be more like. Because usually if you're around a bunch of people with no motivation with life and not doing anything for themselves, you're going to be the next person not doing for themselves. And of course, it's not always the case, but oftentimes you end up being like the people that you surround yourself with daily. If you're around a bunch of people who are negative all the time, nothing ever goes right for them, you start developing that attitude because that's what you're surrounded by. So that's what we conform to. You need to get out, try new things, connect with different people who have the same interests and aspirations as you. Like an example for me, whenever I stopped drinking, I at first, if I had a friend that like drank a lot, I really couldn't be around that friend in that moment. But luckily, my friends, once they knew that like I wasn't drinking, they didn't really drink around me like that. And we would go out and they were like, well, if you're not drinking, I'm not drinking. In that case, like I was surrounded by people that were supporting me and supporting my goals. So even if they're not like-minded, make sure they're supporting you and you can learn from those people and they can help you grow and they want to see you grow. Or let's say you're more introverted like myself, so going out to places by yourself and connecting with people like that, that's not really your thing, because I get it. You can also find like a person and ask them to be your mentor. Having a mentor is really, really great because it's really one-on-one and you really start to develop a really good relationship with this person. And it's a person that you've chosen to be your mentor for a reason. Most people, when you ask them to be a mentor, they will feel honored. Like, what? You want me to mentor you? Like, for sure. Like, I'm there. And once you develop that mentor-mentee relationship, they're always going to be there. And they're going to be maybe even a little bit harder on you because they really, really want you to win. So that's why it's always great to have a mentor. Like for me, my self-proclaimed mentor, he don't know he's my mentor, but he's my mentor. My manager, like whenever I started to really want to be in this peaceful place, I looked at him a lot because he is so peaceful, y'all. Like the way people be talking to him sometimes, I feel like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. He's well more developed in his journey, obviously. Like I still have a long way to go to get to like a level of peaceful that he is, but he has helped me a lot because I just watch how he moves, how he deals with people, and how it's like he takes this approach like, okay, I'm not going to spend much more time on this person because they've taken away my peace and happiness. And that's where I'm starting to get. You can't control people and how they act and how they move. Even though I can't control you, I'm also not going to allow you to really take away my joy and my peace because of how you want to be. The reason that I bring it up because I was so angry about so many things that has happened to me in the past like 10 years or so. I had a lot of anger built up towards a lot of people and I was tired of being angry. I was tired of letting those people and those things take so much of my peace and my happiness away. So once I started to see him and how he moved, I was like, okay, I want to be more peaceful. So I started asking him things and telling him like, this is what I want to do and what I need to do for me. And from that point on, I feel like he stays on me more because he knows that's what I'm trying to do. So he reminds me like, why would you let them take that much from you, or why would you let them get to that point? That has been super helpful for me. So that's why I say it's important to have somebody that's like you because they're going to help you. And that brings me to my next point. It's like a little presentation at this point. We rolling. You need to be open to feedback. If you ask these people and you tell these people to help you, you need to be open to what they got to say, because if they're trying to help you, they're telling you for a reason. If this is what you told me you want to do, this is what I'm trying to do to help you. You got to be able to receive it. I stress this because it is very hard to hear stuff about yourself sometimes. A lot of people don't want to hear about themselves. And I say everybody because even I have those moments. In that moment, I might have been upset. In that moment, I'm like, okay, I guess. But I have to learn and to grow. Like, you got to be able to hear things about yourself if you want to grow as a person. A major key to self-development is being open to feedback. If you've surrounded yourself with people that want to see you win, if they telling you something, it's because they trying to help you win. They doing what you asked them to do and what you told them that you're trying to do. So they're trying to help you, but you have to be able to receive that. When people know I want to be more people, they like, all right, you could have handled that a little bit better. And I'm like, you're right, now that I'm not upset. So sometimes you may not understand it in that moment, or you might be like, whatever in that moment. Be open to that feedback. Next thing is keeping a journal. And I wanted to include this because somebody asked me, actually a couple people asked me, what do you journal about? Why do you journal? I feel like journaling is like basically back in the day, like your diary, you write your thoughts out. It's literally, journaling could be anything you want it to be. If you want to journal your goals and write them down, you want to journal the steps that you found. And the thing with journaling is kind of like free form. You don't have to make it one set thing. Sometimes I journal YouTube ideas. If something just comes to me and it's flowing, I'm just like, let me write it down, and then I can go back and revisit it later. Sometimes I do like diary entries. I feel like diary sounds so childish, but sometimes I'm just writing my thoughts. Let's say you're wanting to be a person that's slow to anger, or you have a spouse, you don't want to argue with your spouse so much. Sometimes you gotta process your thoughts, write them in that journal, so then when you're done, you're calm, you can go back and revisit this, and you'll be able to explain it and elaborate without the unnecessary yelling and screaming and frustration that comes in the heat of the moment. If you want to journal your gratitude or positive affirmations that you need in that moment, just let it out, or things that you want to grow and change about yourself. Journaling is good for all of this, because then you can go back and look at it and revisit whenever you need to. It's there. I write in a journal. I don't put it on the computer just because I got a bunch of journals that I just write in. I just think it's better. If you're a person, you have notes in your phone or something, like that's cool too. But for me, I like to actually write it down in a book, and then it's there forever. You can look back on your successes. You can look back on positive affirmations when you need it, because writing it down, when you write stuff down, it just makes it real for whatever reason. Or when you type it out, it makes it real. It doesn't make it real for me if I type it, but if you're a computer person, phone person, notes person, it could very well make it real for you. You gotta do what you gotta do for you. And journaling helps you to really track your growth. You can look back in your journal like, I popped this girl in the face so-and-so times. You look back like, dang, I would never do something like that today. So it's literally, journaling is just really good across the board. It helps you track your growth, helps you to really see and process emotions, thoughts, get you organized, to-do lists. You can journal literally anything. So when you do go and try it, just make sure you come back and make sure you tell me how much you love it, because I know you will. Journaling very, very much is essential to self-development with all the other things that I've said. And just remember, self-development is a process. It happens over time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. So get it out your head. Everything takes time. Any habit, they always say if you want to change your habit, you need at least 21 days. But even after 21 days, it still may not be there. You got to give yourself lots of grace. I'm telling you, give yourself a whole lot of grace. Don't beat yourself up about every single thing, because, bruh, it takes time. I promise you. Give yourself time. Celebrate. I don't care. Every little step that you take to reaching whatever goal or whatever you're trying to develop yourself into, to whoever you want to be, celebrate it. Pipe yourself up. Y'all know me. You gotta, I did that. Give yourself grace if you mess up, but also revisit what happened, what took you there, what took you out of this person that you're trying to be. It's very important to revisit it, so then you can journal next time on how you can handle it better, or how it felt you in that moment, whatever you need to do. Just know you got this. Keep going, keep striving, and I'm going to see you on the next video.